Okay. And don't just talk in English so people don't know where we're from.
What?
Don't divulge our location. We can only afford the models. It's something. It's something.
The best models in the world.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Brotorheads. Today we're sitting at our desk here because it's the only location we have right now. Our cars don't run. They're only here, models. So hopefully you'll get to see some real cars soon. So today we're talking about 5 mods that we have to do or we wanted to do to our cars. I have a FD RX-7. Dragos has a FC RX-7. My name is Mike, and his name is also Mike, and today it's a beautiful day, looking at the light. We need to talk about some mods, man.
Yeah.
Five mods. 5 you, 5 me. You want to go first, or?
Yeah, I can go first. So we all know buying a Japanese sports car is cool, but it wouldn't be as cool if you didn't do some mods to it. So like you said in a previous video, the one you can see here, RX-7s aren't going to go brap from the factory. You have to do some mods on them. So yeah, I've got quite a few of them in mind. Although I could go crazy with this, I'm going to try to think about something that's achievable in the next 12 months. I think that's a good start. And we can get back to this video and see if we manage to get there. So my 5 most important mods right now would be, first I need some tires for my Passport G7 wheels. I'm still debating whether I should buy some true Japanese tires like you had your Yokohamas on, your FD.
They're brilliant, yeah.
Or there's the cheaper alternative of going down the Nankang route or Federal route, but I'm not certain about that yet.
We don't have Falcon around here, so...
Yeah, I think we can find some Falcons, but I'd still rather go Yokohama all the way.
Yeah.
So my next mod, my second mod would be... Hang on tight. I'd love to get a new turbocharger, maybe get a Borg-Warner turbo, so I can push things up to about 350 horsepower. I think that's a sweet spot.
Sounds expensive.
I don't think it's that expensive.
I mean, I think we can whip something up if I get rich and I get a turboloan cast dual external wastegate manifold, and I can give you my internal wastegate manifold.
That could work out. So
yeah,
no, a new turbo would be nice, although I have quite a bit of power right now, at least for a car that's 30 years old. The good part about the FC is that it's running a twin scroll turbocharger, so spool up happens at about 3500 RPM, which is quite decent for a car that old. But yeah, more power would be definitely nice. Though,
the Borg-Warner, the one on my car is like spooling up at 4000 RPM, so it's also a twin scroll, so yeah,
that one might be a bit too much for me, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
For street use.
Yeah, there's normal turbos out there for sure, like the SX, whatever.
35 something E, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the first 2 mods I do on my car. The third mod would be something aesthetic. So I'd love a body kit and a paint job, obviously. Right now I'm debating between the Foresight body kit and the Sexy Nights one.
Which one's the West Coast Custom Special?
I have no idea, and I'm not keen on finding out.
Okay, so you're not going that route?
No, definitely no. Right now I'm thinking about going either down the time attack route or the drifting route. I know drifting would be the thing I want most, but it's probably more expensive.
And it involves banging.
Yeah.
Which you don't want to do.
Talking about the time attack variation, RE Amamiya had a very nice kit with non-pop-up headlights, but they don't make it anymore, which is quite surprising. So Foresight body kit or 69th one would cost about $1,500 or up to $2,000. The only problem is I have to ship it over from Japan, and that's not going to be all that easy to do.
Nope.
So if you have the paint job and the body kit, that sums up to about $4,000 or $5,000 just for a full exterior remake, but that would be a complete transformation given the wheels as well.
Yeah, and I can tell you how much that single turbo conversion will cost because it's not cheap.
Well, I think it should be like $2,500.
If you find top feed injectors with 11 millimeters, then you're just maxing out your fuel rail capacity, which is not necessarily what Xeno would approve of. So yeah, you might need fuel rails, fuel hose. If you want ethanol, then you gotta get
Money,
the
money,
sensor,
money.
yeah, different hoses that don't melt and whatnot. So yeah, it's I mean, you can do it on the cheap. We've done it before.
Yeah, I don't think going on the cheap is always a good option.
Yeah, but we can try.
But you know, there's always that triangle: the cheap, fast, and reliable. Pick only two.
Yes, I know that triangle very well.
Okay, so going for the fourth mod, it's the one you mentioned earlier, injectors. There are definitely bigger injectors.
Yeah,
we were looking at ID, Injector Dynamics ones, maybe 1050X, I think it was the series.
ID or fuel injector clinic. I don't know if that's still an option, but yeah, whichever is cheaper, for my opinion. Because or just my injectors, because they're huge and they're cheap.
That's what she said. Don't you dare.
That's why it's always nice to have a Brotorhead
Yeah, so
to pass on some parts.
I thought you were gonna say that's what she said, but yeah. No, those are the biggest Bosch petrol dedicated injectors, the 1650s, or people call them 1700s, I guess. They're 1650, or actually they're called the 14 something. I don't remember. Whatever. There were $500.
Okay.
4 pieces.
So that sounds
plus
achievable.
Shipping plus whatever. It's decent. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 mods in. My last mod would be a pair of bucket seats for the inside of my car. I'm looking at a pair of Recaros. I'm oscillating between blue and yellow. That would be an interesting color if I decide to go black on the outside, but that's not decided yet. So yeah, I'd basically love to have a nice all-around setup.
Black and yellow.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Black and yellow, yeah, that's right.
Tell people why you want this mod right now. What's the current status of your seats?
The current status of my seats is I have a very old Sparco seat. I think it's like 15 years old. It's not that bad, but I wouldn't want to be caught up crashing in it, or maybe it's just me. But it doesn't look all that nice. Definitely a pair of Recaros in yellow or blue. The ones you see in the Acura Integra, the DC5, the blue ones, if you remember. Those are reclining ones as well.
I don't remember. The only running ones I had was like the Sparco R100 or 150. Those like budget.
Basic, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't great, but they did the job for whatever. What's it
Daily
called?
driving?
No, autocross.
Ah, for slalom, yeah.
Yeah, they did the job. I didn't crash. So I wouldn't comment on their safety part.
Okay, so that's my 12-month plan. What about you, Mike?
12 months, man. I mean, we've been investing our funds in other stuff lately, but hopefully we can still focus on the cars. I have a list of things I'd like to do,
Don't we all?
which is it's not cheap. I mean, I'm not gonna go the body kit route. My car is like stock body, stock everything, 93 whatever bumper, nothing changed. So I would go with definitely a two-way limited slip diff in the rear, probably a Kaz, which is cheaper and readily available at driftshop.com, I think. New tires, no grip.
Going back to Yokohama again, or?
Depends on the budget. A052s are really nice, but really expensive, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I can burn the old tires first and then I'll figure it out, because I have a second set of wheels, like the OEM wheels refurbished with some Michelin PS4s, which I can throw on there anytime if my other tires blow up, so yeah. Mods, coilovers, let's talk suspension. Well, you might ask why. Isn't your car rated already? No, it's not. It has...
But he has a big turbo on, so yeah.
Yeah, lots
Priorities.
of... Yeah, I mean, I have the brakes refurbished so I can stop that big turbo, I hope. The problem with my suspension setup is that although I have full Super Pro poly bushing and new J-Auto pillow balls and everything, and good knuckles and whatnot, the car came with Showa, which is #1 Japanese suspension manufacturer. Is it some sort of coilovers? I'm not sure what they're from, if they were on a special edition or not. I don't think so, because they had the Bilsteins. Yeah. So they never put a Showa, right? So it's aftermarket, I guess.
I think so, yeah.
It's aftermarket, but it takes the OEM springs. So it looks OEM, it's just blue, or...
So it's more of a budget solution, I guess.
I think so, yeah. I had it refurbished, so they're revalved and resealed and everything, and the serviced, and they're brand new. I only did like 2,000 kilometers or whatever. So, and then I put the Tane springs on them, and I had to basically raise the car because it was too low from the minus 35 mil.
I remember
Tanes.
it was scraping
Yeah, everywhere.
when you were braking out.
Not, it was scraping on the wheel arches, but
Yeah.
it was hitting the ramp
Okay.
in my underground parking, and yeah, you cannot have that. So the problem was we had to take the safety pins out and raise the suspension more than the safety limit, which is doable because it's all on a big spindle, and you have to take the whole coilover out and spin it and then put it back and then do the corner balancing all over again.
Can someone bring a translator over here? Because yeah, he's got me lost again. Yeah, so we basically did the full geometry and suspension work 3 times on that car just because we didn't have parts, then we didn't have money, and then we changed up.
Well, basically the pillow balls again, and we just double checked. Oh, and potholes. Go figure. So we had to redo the suspension all over again, and the last time I had to redo it, the alignment and the corner balancing, because I had to take the whole steering rack out to take my turbo actuator out. So that brings us to the next mod, because why would you disconnect your steering rack to get to the turbo actuator? Because you cannot do it any other way without actually taking out the turbo. And you ask, why don't you take out the turbo? Because it's a pain. It has to, you have to disconnect the turbo from the block, the whole header. You have to get to one bolt from the lower intake manifold, which you cannot reach otherwise. Then you have to put it back, the 4 bolts on the block. And
Sounds like something you've done a few times before.
Oh yeah, 4 times already. So then you have to undo the bolts from the turbo flange, and then to undo the last bolt from turbo flange, you had to take the lower intake manifold off, which you did first. So everything has to come off so you can get to what's under the turbo, the actuator. And why would you mess with the actuator? Well, because it's a second-hand turbo and it wasn't really working. I found that the membrane on the actuator was pinched, and I had a new one come in, like the full actuator, and I also got a new membrane, which I can put it in there. So basically I have 2 actuators. I can swap them with different spring rates, but I still have to take the steering rack off. So you're messing with your alignment every time you diagnose something with the turbo, especially now since I haven't hit the dyno. That's gonna be interesting. So yeah, that brings us to, what number are we on?
I think 4.
3 or 4?
You said diff, tires,
Suspension.
suspension. So this is number 4.
Number 4, turboloan cast dual external wastegate exhaust manifold, because the current one is an internal wastegate, which is not good. The car is boost creeping. Thank you, Xeno, for the nice tune, which makes it run okay, but it's not okay. It just shoots up and it never goes back down. So it's not boost creeping. It's not overboosting. It's boost creeping. It's going to the moon, basically. The most I've seen on it, and don't tell Xeno, it's a 2.5 bar. Yeah, on an EFR, it's too much. On an 8374, yeah. Luckily, the fuel pump and whatever fuel setup I had with the 4 16-15 injectors held. So I was on a base map. I don't even remember if that was my base map or the one done by Xeno. I think it was mine. It was
Might be.
It was before that winter, like last winter when we tuned it, just briefly.
The highway tune or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
the one where we noticed that it's not working right. So it was my base map, which is even scarier. So yeah.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, luckily I learned enough to not blow the car up. So yeah, yeah, I definitely need 2 external wastegates, 44 mil I think it is, like whatever I can find. Turbo Smart probably, because I already have Turbo Smart everything on the car, which would open up the world for you to get a smaller turbo with my exhaust manifold and both of the actuators, because I don't care about them anymore. It's got 2 actuators. One's 7 psi spring and one's 10, but you can always mix it up and do 7, 10, 14, 17. So yeah, whatever.
Okay.
So that's like the spring pressure.
Which leaves mod number 5.
For me, oh god, mod number 5. I'll have to think about that. You go on while I think about it. Yo, you didn't start, huh?
No, I finished.
Oh, you finished?
Yeah, I finished.
You said 5 mods?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, with the body kit and everything. Okay. Number 5. Jesus.
I actually had 6 crammed into 5, but you didn't notice. Body kit and paint job.
Yeah, that's like one package.
Yeah.
It's like the whole enchilada, basically.
Are you gonna do anything to the interior of the car? Maybe get new seats as well?
They're too
You were
expensive.
thinking about the roll cage as well at one point.
No, I've dropped the thought of the roll cage because I know what it implies, and it's basically cutting the car because you cannot get around the dash and everything. So keeping the car stock, it's kind of been a pain point for me. I don't want to mess with it. At least the exterior and interior. So yeah.
You already installed the methanol injection kit?
Yeah, everything's
that's-
on the car. Yeah, so the water methane injection kit, it's already installed up and running. It's just not tuned for the actual injection. I have 2 nozzles, and I don't know if the one I have right now is too much because I test drove it and didn't really like it. So we'll see. Which after tuning will imply they'll always run on water meth after a certain boost. It's in the ECU. There's a certain threshold you set, and you 1.2 bar or whatever. You just go into the injection stage.
If you feel lost with all of Mike's explanations of deep rotary knowledge, let us know and we'll ask him to do a more in-depth explanation about how these engines work, because he usually loses me during the discussion and I'm like, I just want to drive.
Yeah, I lose track of what we're talking about sometimes. So yeah,
So 5th model.
is it ADHD or ADD?
I think there's too much knowledge crammed into the little head of yours and you're trying to get it all out at the same time.
Yeah, probably
So
I
that
have
means-
nobody to talk to.
So give me a 5th mod, man. 5th mod.
5th mod. Well, I do have an alternator which I might or might not install. Hello, Dragosh.
Is it a race alternator?
Yeah, he might buy it. I've talked to him and
Okay.
he might get it. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I looked up the wiring and explained the wiring to him, and maybe, yeah. I do not have a 5th mod. It's ridiculous.
But still you are at the point where you've done pretty much everything that could have been done to the car. You just need the final map, the dyno tune, and that's about it.
Pretty much. I mean, the 5th mod would be maybe redoing my engine loom, all entire wiring, because it was done in a hurry, and I'm not sure if it's like professional enough. But yeah, I might do that in the winter sometime.
How much time do you need to redo the whole engine loom? Is it like
Not
50
much,
hours?
because it's already done. The first part where you took the rope template and you laid it out in the car, I didn't really calculate it good enough, so I have no room to reposition my ECU in the car. So right now it's like hanging under the glove compartment. So I'm not sure if it fits anywhere else, to be honest, because the glove compartment is like this big. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it.
Yeah, so basically whenever you buy a project car, the list never ends. I'm sure that he says he doesn't have a 5th mod right now, but if you give him enough time, he'll come up with another thing he wants to change on the car.
Yeah.
One thing that we don't get enough of these days is driving our vehicles, so I think maybe spending more time getting to know how they operate in extreme conditions on a racetrack would be really helpful and entertaining. But we're definitely planning on visiting a racetrack near us soon, so keep following us for more updates, and thank you for watching Brotorheads.
Like and subscribe.
どうもありがとうございます。